Well, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to explain my HYA not-for-profit society here in BC, and I am going to first start by reading what our purpose is in 4 points when I registered this BC member-funded society. Of course, I am a member, so I decided at the same time that I would invest 100% of any income I generate through my various skill sets into this not-for-profit society in order to raise funds for our biggest expense, which is a small passenger van, because the children would be going to as many different outdoor locations as possible and participate in learning activities related mostly to the natural world. So point one about my society's purpose is to provide transparent teachings of our Humanics cognitive technology training, nurturing by role modeling for all. Therefore, an agreement would need to be signed by parents, guardians beforehand, meaning that certain lessons would appear online on our website with no fees for others to access in order for them to learn from these shared experiences, which is the very concept of collective learning and played a part in our species evolving these bigger brains capable of an Homo sapien operating system and a variety of human thinking tools, not just living in communities where we have experts in certain categories of skill sets or intelligence or smartness, but also that most members have at least the basics in these, so that these specialists, we don't rely too much on them. We are not dependent on them. We are able to do most of what they can do, but they are the role models of these higher skill sets. So I'm just describing a little bit more the concept of collective learning is communities that are lifelong learners and that learn every type of skill set, while some exceed and become the masters of them and the teachers of them as well. Number two, the focus will be to work with a preschool age group at around 4 or 5 years old with no diagnoses during the weekdays, but to also accept one-on-one lessons alongside parents, guardians, with children of special needs at other scheduled times. Number three, outdoor education lessons will be the norm, as well as welcoming adult guests to learn or retrain in these life skills as defined by, for example, the Saskatchewan New Start model. So please look that up because most people use the word life skills inappropriately, incorrectly. For the sake of sharing these human thinking tools with other community members, children without allergies would be required, and this is partly because other animals would often be part of the environments, but also because our staff volunteers would only have first aid training and only have access to a simple first aid kit while visiting various outdoor locations. So I would not pay myself. I would have one paid staff, and the third adult would be a parent. So number four, the various BC ministries, for example, children and family development, will always be welcome, although we are not under their category. We are under the category of the BC Ministry of Finance. Although when I started this, I also said international because it's important for me to find the right community, because this is my end of life legacy. This is my final career. This is my gift for my life experience to the greater biosphere that would benefit from these free online lessons when they develop through this program. So of course, any ministry or any individuals being curious through communication would be able to come, not just observe, participate, and to also learn about these healthy psychological development and humanic psychotherapy demonstrations. And I use these words because there would be an absence of domestication and indoctrination, so real education. And therefore, this would be very therapeutic because it would be going against the norm, which is very much about in all cultures of the world that I've studied so far about domestication. So this would be free of charge for people to see online. But if, let's say, members of children and family development staff come, they should not expect us to go against our Constitution, Code of Ethics, by them only observing. No, no, they would have to participate and to also write comments that would, I would hope, match whatever other comments they might write elsewhere and be congruent in this way. And congruency, by the way, helps fight domestication, which is not good for the human brain. And they would do this on our website openly. So it's full transparency program. So real names, real positions, real comments. So this is what it is, and that I've been trying to start for more than a year. It's important to raise a minimum of funds, and it's not a lot. It's mostly for the vehicle and maybe a pick-up and drop-off storage area that is very small, just to accommodate, let's say children not bringing their bicycles all the time or other equipment for water, being on water and things like that. And also maybe a place to store foods because we would be bringing healthy snacks every day. And when I say that, I would have to role model this online, right? What the snacks are and how they're prepared. And it's not just something written on a wall. It would actually be, these were the healthy snacks, and we were consistent even though we were busy. What I wanted to say about this program as well is that there is a limited number of children to be accepted. It is, again, not a babysitting service, not a daycare. It's a pilot project that I would wish in the future, when enough data about it is posted online, would be emulated to help restore healthier communities of people primates. So it's important that it takes time, that it remains small for quality, and it would never be for profit or accepting large questionable donations. It's not a money laundering scheme, and it's not a babysitting service. Again, I'm donating my time for this, and there'd be one paid staff. So to finish up, I wanted to say that there'd be a specific interviewing process with the child and the parents, and that the parents must come spend a full day with us at least once every 2 weeks, either one of them or both of them. And that's mandatory. It's one of the mandatory rules. And of course, signing as well that, the learning lessons, especially life skills, not just the science of the natural world, but more focus on the life skills, which is very crucial at that age, 3 to 5, but that would be the later years, 4 and 5. And at that stage, it must be that it's there within the child, these life skills, so that they know what's happening within them and therefore improve how they interact with others, which will serve them well as social creatures. So parents must learn this at home, because in teaching life skills in the past, I've very much noticed that if the family is not included, the skills learned and improved are lost over even a very short amount of time. So the majority wins. So when the majority misdefines at very high levels, even John Tesh, I've told him that he misdefined that term life skills, and he's a famous, well-known figure, but also a lot of people in elite status of mental health or education in BC and other parts of Canada are misdefining that term. So it'll be important to redefine it. In fact, I believe I will post another video that could be a second part to this, where I define life skills. As opposed to other concepts that people might believe are life skills, and they're not. And I don't approve changing the terms later in the game, because it devolves us. And in fact, if we do research, we find that we don't have to go hundreds of years in the past to know they were defined properly. And the lack of efficient language usage in our species is devolving very quickly. So I do call myself the Doctor of Humanics, as one reason is to redefine life skills properly the way it always was, instead of using it now in the way that people are misdefining it. But again, I must define it, because these are terms that are very important. So again, life skills is different than living skills, different than essential or soft skills, and different than life coaching. So they again are related to social creatures and how we interact with ourselves in healthy, productive, social ways for collaborations and lifelong healthy relationships that can be at every level of culture, family, work, leisure, volunteerism, everything. So they are at the basis of healthy, functioning, human societies. So they must be learned and they must be role modeled by the majority. I cannot work miracles. I will work with a small group of children and their families uh, for this pilot project, but at least my legacy as I grow older is to actually document it very well, that then it'll be very clear what these skills are, that there is a limited number of, and how to efficiently use them in the way to benefit not just the individuals involved, but greater society as a whole. So I'll just be making sure right now that my recording worked, and I'll be pressing stop. Thank you very much.